I want to show you the sort of inspired business acumen that makes me a winner. Look at that.
Goldfish.
Gold mine, Terry. Gold mine.
Terry McCann and Arthur Daly made one of the best partnerships on ITV. And how about this? We have filmed the guys together again for the first time since 1989. That's right, the real double act. The brilliant Dennis Waterman and my personal hero, the legendary George Cole. Hey, you don't want to miss this.
Didn't know you had that kind of dough. I could have mugged you.
Yeah, with your background, you probably would. You're a very lucky young man. It's not many employers will give you a second chance.
No, but some of them would pay me wages, wouldn't they? You owe me 80 sovs. It's not as if you can't afford it, is it?
Oh, it is? Well, it's just bits and bobs. I owe most of this.
Yeah, 80 of it to me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think I have 4,000 yet. Don't bother to check it.
Just routine, sir.
That's a G up. I just don't want to see you on a scrap heap of life.
Excuse me, sir. This is £120 light.
Never.
I'm afraid so, Mr. Harney.
Happens to all of us, eh?
Yes, Mr. Harney.
Mr. Who? Nothing to do with you.
When I heard they were making the show, I just had to get involved because Minder, for me, was one of the finest and funniest television dramas ever produced by ITV. Now, it started in 1979, it ran for 15 glorious years and was sold to 70 countries worldwide. It made television icons of its two leading characters, the dodgy dealing Arthur Daly and his hired muscle-cum-gopher, Terry McCann. Do you know, it was one of the few things that would stop me going out at night with my mates. There with me, picture the scene, indoors, sat down, big mug of tea, feet up, click, it's Minder. I could be so good for you.
We found it very, very easy to work together right from day one, really. It was terrific.
Well, we circled each other for about 2 or 3 days.
Just a little sparring, see how it went.
Yeah. And we realised we were both on the same wavelength. And he had the billing, so there was no fighting for the billing. So that was all right.
But all I'm doing is sussing out the job market, all right?
Job market? What, motorcycle messenger? Audio typist? Is that the limit of your aspirations? Listen, this isn't for you. This is for civilians. Workers.
Listen, Arthur, I've had enough, right? Standing on the door in some Kazi and acting lippy hooligans. Kung fu kicks now it is. I'll tell you what, I've got a season ticket to the casualty ward. Thoracic and all. Can't even get me best shoes out of Mendes.
Oh, why didn't you say? Oh, look, that's a good one.
Of course, Arthur Edward Daly would have described himself as a, let's see, a successful pillar of society businessman who owned a quality used car emporium in West London. But we all recognised him as a ducking and diving rascal who thought VAT meant vodka and tonic. 900, I said.
Excuse me? How big are you?
Hey?
I might have something for you. What are you, 6'4", 46 chest? Look at that. Could have been made for you. Savile Row.
I'm just an ordinary painter.
Oh, don't painters have suits? Don't they go out of an evening? Try it on. It's only 200 sobs.
What did you say?
I said to you, 170 sobs.
Who do you think I am, David Hockney?
A footballer? No, he's much smaller than you. Now, look, don't drip paint over it, but have a butcher's at this. I don't think Arthur was a petty criminal, and I don't think he was a villain either. I mean, he was a rogue. Opportunity is a fleeting thing. Remember Fleming when he discovered penicillin?
He was up a ladder at the time, was he?
I don't think anyone ever checked that. Look, I'll tell you what I'll do. 150 sobs. This could be your lucky day. There is no need for that attitude, Terry. It's just that the gentry, well, they're different from the likes of you and, well, from the likes of you.
You say that again, can't you? Born into money and privilege, living off the backs of the likes of me. And it's people like you that keep them there.
Terry, remember where you are. Good God, Harrods is only just round the corner. Well, that's the way he was written as a lovable rogue. I mean, the scripts were wonderful. Dave, allow me 1 second to explain the nub of my proposal. Thank you. Now, your average punter comes in here, buys a drink, sits down at a table. What has he got to distract him? A fruit machine. He's left his newspaper at the office, he's read all the beer mats, and then suddenly he sees a sign. Winchester Waxworks. This way. I don't think there was a single episode that I'm not proud of and happy about, which is quite something. We are standing not 20 yards away from a geezer who takes punters for 20 quid meals at 7 ton a throw. You imagine 5 bookings a week? You know what that comes to?
3,500.
It was a rhetorical question. That's the trouble with this country today. You can't find a good, honest-to-God, decent professional thief anymore. They're all gone to live in bloody Spain. I think one of my favourite lines was right at the beginning. I said to Terry, I swear to you on my mother's grave. I did not know this, Terry. I swear I didn't. On my sainted mother's grave.
Now, normally this would be OK for me, Arthur. But I happen to know that your old mum is alive and well and living in Frinton.
Yeah, well, never mind that. I've got something else for you, right up your street. For this, my son, you hardly need to get out of bed.
Terry McCann was an ex-middleweight who'd done a couple of stretches inside before Arthur Daly put Terry on wages and gave him this set of wheels. And yes, this is the very car they used in Minder. Of course, Terry was still useful with his fists and a bit of a demon when it came to the ladies. But then who could resist this pulling machine, eh, girls?
Terry was a nice guy who'd had some bad luck. He punched a couple of wrong people, got banged up, and he got hooked up with Arthur, who saved his bacon somewhere along the line. And then they just had this wonderful relationship.
Now, I suggest you pack up your expensive pyjamas, courtesy of Big Spender Terry, and all the other gear, and we move out of this deluxe establishment into some humbler gaff.
And where do you suggest?
His little place.
My... Oh, no. No, I'm sorry, no. I've got a bit of, you know, tonight.
I don't care if you've got a bit of a you-know. With Miss World, Raquel Welsh and the entire Dagenham Gold Pipers. Tonight, Ernie is your house guest.
I'm not sure that Terry being a ladies' man made it appealing for me. It was more the relationship with Arthur and the would-be women involved.
Hello, lover. Oh, bad timing, eh?
Penny, this is Debbie. Just a friend.
Just?
I suppose Terry was one of the early lads, really. I mean, they'd always been there, but they were usually more criminal than Terry. Terry didn't want to go back to prison. He'd had that. He didn't want to do anything illegal, which was dangerous working with Arthur.
You're asking for a slap. Leave it out, son.
He thought of himself as a gunslinger in a way, and that he had to clean up the town. And so every now and again he did put himself in situations which he needn't have been in, or Arthur got him into situations he needn't have been in. But luckily he could handle himself. Early scripts were very, very gritty, were set in the gutter, were hard, with explosively funny moments.
Wait a sec! Wait a sec! What is this, Marquis of Bleeding Queensbury?
The hand, I think it's busted.
Oh, me foot! It's all swollen up. I don't believe this.
Terry was always there for Arthur. Yeah, all right, he often threatened to leave, but deep down he was a loyal, honourable bloke who knew Arthur couldn't possibly cope on his own.
No, I'm not kidding, Arthur. I'm thinking of packing it all in.
Terry. I only have your interests at heart. Well, haven't I always got your jobs?
Well, yeah.
Seeing you're all right?
Yeah.
Nice little flat?
Yeah.
One more job.
Don't know what he needs a minder for these days. He don't get up to any skullduggery, does he?
No. Just makes him feel good, I think.
He's a well-respected man, always has been.
Well, it did me a favour anyway.
Huh? What was that?
I don't remember now.
We never figured out what made Terry stay with Arthur. There was a quote about he did me a favour. He keeps telling me he did me a favour once, but I can't remember what the favour was.
Good boy, you remembered that well.
Got it, Dave?
Yeah.
You're trying to steal my business. You're even using my patter.
Oh, I think you'll find the English language is available for general use.
Nobody puts it over on me.
Look, you're blocking my access. Now, will you move along, or shall I go and call security?
I think you should worry about your own security daily.
Arthur had the uncanny knack of talking himself straight into trouble. But although he had more than his share of scrapes, when the fist started flying, it always somehow sloped lively into the shadows with a, "Terence, sort this out."
You dive in and take him unawares. It's down there.
What'll you be doing?
Well, I'll be on the corner having a drink.
They're not even open yet.
Well, I'll be having a cup of tea on the corner. I mean, you want someone outside as lookout, don't you?
Thanks a bunch, Arthur.
The reason Terry stuck around was largely because of Arthur's deviousness and cowardice. He knew he couldn't handle it by himself, so he'd have to... Somebody's got to look after this silly old sod.
So you wait here.
You're questioning my bottle? Yes. Have I ever let you down?
Yes.
I'll give you 5 minutes.
You stay there.
Supposing you get captured?
You stay.
In fact, whether Terry was there or not, Arthur always managed to stay out of trouble.
Where is the slug, Daly?
Who are you, Sunbeam?
Nobody.
I asked you a question, Daly.
I swear to God, I don't know.
Get in there, Tony!
I'll get the law, Dave.
Now, Arthur! You slug! Come here. Christ, bastard! Slug! You bastard!
You all right, Dave? Whoa. Got me on nose, Leader. I don't think it's broken.
Arthur!
I'll murder the bloody lot of them.
Arthur's schemes and scams were only ever just this side of legal, and sometimes the hook he gear was trying to knock out was decidedly dodgy. I mean, one-legged chickens. What's all that about, eh?
Benny, of course they're kosher. They might have only had one leg, but I think you'll agree that was reflected in the price. No, it's a new method. Makes them easier to catch. My worship, my name is Arthur Edward Daly. I reside at 18 Arcadia Avenue. That is the upmarket end of West 14, you understand. I am what you might call a successful businessman and entrepreneur. You know, imports, exports, that sort of thing. I also have connections in the world of show business. Me and Paul Newman, same age.
Still to come, more from George and Dennis and Terry and Arthur, plus a whole host of famous faces who queued up to be guest stars in Minder. Wow, Billy Connolly in Minder. See you in a minute. Now, a good few of Arthur's shady deals were done down a smoky drinking den called the Winchester Club, run and co-owned by Arthur's schoolmate, a gruff-voiced, easy-going pint puller called Dave. Do you remember Dave? Hello, Arthur. That's good, that wasn't it? Quite how the club ever made money is a mystery, because in typical Daily fashion, all of Arthur's drinks, oh, and there was a good few of them, all right, went straight on the slate.
Oh, stick it on the slate.
That'll be 60p, Arthur.
Let's stick it on the slate, Dave.
Oh, well, I want to have a word with you about your slate.
Dave, I am busy. I am in conference.
Arthur never settled his slate entirely. I suppose he used to save me a few quid now and again, but I don't think it was ever cleared.
I've got to get a drink in.
You buying?
What, first round?
Never.
I'd had a birthday, and he said, right, you're coming down the pub and you're going to buy everyone a drink. So I said, all right. So I went down, and he went round, total strangers, and said, come down the pub today, George is buying a drink. And it was full. I don't want to dwell on my involvement with this business this afternoon, but I would just like to say these few words.
A drink from me.
The drinks are on me. Oh, you know, no!
And then he would buy a round, and then, of course, he wouldn't pay for it. So, well, put it on the slate, Dave. So I don't recall a lot of cash actually coming out of Arthur Daly's pocket and going into the Winchester till.
Bungalows behind the ramp, Dave. Oh, there's one there for you. What are you, 42?
I know, thanks, Arthur. I've still got that terribly mohair you sold me last year.
Nah, that was a steal.
Yeah, I know the bloke who stole it.
Dave was conned by Arthur. There was a jacket, a very exclusive jacket.
Interesting jacket Mickey's wearing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a coincidence.
Now, I wonder where he got hold of that.
Oh, I don't know. It could be anywhere. Oh, they're all in fashion, aren't they?
Naturally, because of George and Dennis's status in one of ITV's most successful dramas, there was no shortage of serious big-name stars keen to play alongside them.
Hello, Arthur. How's tricks?
No idea, Tic Tac. I'm an entrepreneur, not a member of the Magic Circle. What sort of business arrangement had you got in mind?
Quite a simple one. You give me the tape, or I'll smash your kneecaps.
Oh, very reasonable. Look, I don't want you to think I'm being rude or anything, Charlie, but have you ever considered the Scargill diet? Done wonders for her indoors.
Is that rust?
No, bird. Mere blemish of nature.
Arthur Daly.
Who wants to know?
Like a word with you. Inside.
What are you going to do about it? There's nothing I can do about it. I'm bust, broke.
No, if you want to see a really professional entrepreneur, look at her at number 10.
A very clever woman.
Clever. Bloody genius.
What do you do with yourself when you're back in Bloody?
Listen, that.
I thought so.
So shall we to the nearest rubber dump?
There might be people in there I don't want to see, Arthur.
There are people here you don't want to see, Sunshine.
By the way, have you ever thought about a hairpiece yourself? I think Sir's macho image might be greatly enhanced with a Burt Reynolds, one of our range.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs.
You'll be on a nice little earner in the end, my son.
Oh, would you,
A Gordon's martini, very dry with a twist.
straight up?
Don't be cheeky, Clog. Go get it.
After 7 series of working for Arthur, covering for Arthur, and literally taking it on the chin for Arthur, Terry's patience finally ran out.
Terry, shake a leg, my son. That bloody Johnny Bradbury's gone walkabout in Brussels. You'll have to whip out there. And when you come back, I've got this nephew I've been lumbered with.
So Terry quit. He jacked it in and left for Australia, leaving Arthur to his own dodgy devices. I couldn't believe it, and nor could Arthur. Luckily for us, though, in 1991, the programme was relaunched with Gary Webster, replacing Dennis Waterman.
What do you want to do with your life, Ray?
I don't want to spend it nicking car radios like most of me mates. I want to get into tie-wearing activities. Be a captain of industry like you, Uncle Arthur.
Major, Ray, major.
It was Arthur's nephew. He needed a job. Terry had gone missing. So Arthur really just took him on as a bit of a family favour, having no idea of his fighting skills, you know.
Oh, you've had a run of bad luck, Daly. That Taylor's dummy with you has been giving cars and videos away, hasn't he?
But if there was any thoughts that he wasn't up to the job, he quickly dispelled them.
Right.
In fact, he'd only been in the show 21 minutes before he had his first ruck.
I don't think you met my new minder, have you?
I feel that the 4 years I spent with George was like me doing my apprenticeship at the National, you know. We were working with one of the true greats of television in this country.
I still don't see how these are going to help, Arthur.
Well, it's not the waxworks as themselves, Ray. It's what they represent. It came to me in a flash. With a little rejigging, they could stand for everything England has to offer in corporate entertainment.
Well, give me a for instance.
Lord Nelson, he's your heritage. Dick Whittington, pageantry, Lord Mayor's show, all that.
Yeah, what about Marilyn then?
That's Danny LaRue.
What, represented dressing up as a woman?
Cabaret.
All right, so you got your heritage, your pageantry, your cabaret. What's Gordon a cartoon represent?
Sport.
Sport?
Yeah. Pull the spear out, stick it in his hand, whack a dicky bow on him. Dead ringer for Cliff Thorburn, snooker, at which we are world champions.
Yeah, Cliff Thorburns Canadian.
Minder had its own vocabulary. A lot of it originated from the leery drinking pals of Leon Griffith, the guy who created the show. Hey, one dailyism even turned up listed in the Oxford English Dictionary. Can you Adam and Eve it?
I was saying to her indoors the other day, I said, what about her indoors? What's she going to say when she comes back from her sister's? Her indoors is doing something special.
I wrote us a fairly pathetic little song just to make some money out of the Christmas thing. What are we going to get for her indoors?
That's typical. Right. You've no respect. You made me laugh, you do. Oh, Terence, please. But leave me out. After all I've done for you. What are we gonna get for her indoors?
That was probably one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me, watching him on Top of the Pops. And he sang. He had to sing live and do all the stuff, and his kids were thrilled.
Of course, with George Cole's timing, coupled with Arthur's tortured misuse of the English language, some of his expressions were frankly, well, nothing short of hilarious.
We're on again next month.
Forget that.
Forget it. The world is your lobster, my son. You've got a new career. People's champion. I blame that Emily Parkhurst. She started all this, chaining herself to the rails, suffragetting women's lib all over the place. Been better if she bolted herself to the train rails.
What's in this for you, Arthur?
Just a helping hand. Good Samaritan. Simple philatelist.
I think you mean philanthropist.
Yes.
It is a wasteful man who defrosts the snowplow. He will travel by taxi.
No, most unreliable, Bjorn. And we do want him here on time. Besides, taxi versus a limo? I won't hear another word. Smorgasbord. Good script. Good cast. Good directors. Good producers.
Good old days.
Good old days.
Mine allowed me personally to watch a true master like George Cole working at the top of his game. And it gave us all one of the most memorable characters on television. Of course, Arthur Daly. Yeah, he's been emulated, but he's never been bettered. Deep down, I think there's even a bit of Arthur in Alfie Moon. Still, best jog on. I've got her indoors to get home to, and I cannot wait. You be lucky.
And there's more from Arthur and Terry. Well, that's if her indoors lets them anyway. Saturday night at 10 over on Men and Motors. And back to ITV1 next tonight. Mark Austin's here with the latest news.